Hey, you made it. Welcome to Graph 101, the art of the tag, a virtual graffiti foundation class. My name's Dustin. I'm a teacher, an artist,
a designer, a train enthusiast, a hip-hop nerd, a record collector.
You got enough? Okay. Overview. Today we'll establish some goals to work towards. We'll get into the first lesson called flow. I'll set you up with some starting points so it's easy to... Yeah, I'm just giving them like the bigger picture, the overview of the class. Okay. That's Kita. She's actually the real boss around here. I'll set you up with some starting points so it's easy to get into the lesson. We'll take some breaks. Are we back? Yeah? In this class, we're going to develop our own unique styles. We're going to learn about the history of graffiti, its origins, its originators. We'll also learn about typography. In this first lesson, flow, we're going to get loose.
Get loose. Get loose. Get loose.
In the simplest terms, we're going to break down our own handwriting, something that we're already familiar with, and we're going to push it. We'll be building alphabets and sets of numbers. We're going to explore what feels natural and experiment. Today we'll be practicing creating things that we don't necessarily like. In the end, this is all valuable. We'll have a menu of styles and a range of creations. Some that we like, some that we don't like, some that we think are... I can say that word. That's not... What is happening? Things that we think are doo-doo. Ah, got it. This is a good time to talk about our supplies. First, our black books. It's like a diary, but for your graffitis. Next,
The simple, the trusted, the classic. The yellow number 2 pencil.
here's one potential starting point. Let's create a grid. 4 horizontal lines, 7 vertical lines. Once we have this grid drawn out, we're going to go ahead and draw out an alphabet in a style that feels somewhat natural to us. For this first set of letters, I'm going to focus on a style that's really familiar to me. The thing I want to keep in mind is consistency. So I'm trying to develop a set of letters that's somewhat consistent. So for this, I'm going to write in all capital letters, and the style is going to be very basic. For these exercises, do you. Don't worry about what I'm creating over here. Do you. I'm going to go ahead and do this 4 more times. Each time I'm going to set a timer for 1 minute. My goal is to work quickly and not to get too caught up on letter forms. I might keep it all capital but focus on straight letters. Or I might go to lowercase letters. Or I might go to cursive or add a lean. Keep it angular. Keep it bubbly, organic. You choose. We're trying to find what feels right, discover some things along the way, and we're also just practicing. Bam! 5 sets, letters and numbers. peppermint. Take a quick look at each of these sets. What letters stand out to you? What letters do you like? What letters do you dislike? Were there any moments that caught you off guard? Did you create something that kind of surprised you? Here are some things I noticed. This letter E, how large it is up top. It's like the bottom arms have to hold up the weight of the top. I like that. I might experiment with the width and the height a little bit more, see what I come up with. These last two letter E's in particular really stood out. I like them. I like how low yet wide they are. So I might note that for the future. Keep that in mind. This letter A has an old school graffiti vibe to it. I like the bend and the angle of the upper stem. Kind of like how the bottom portion is really small compared to the top. I might go ahead and experiment with those proportions a little bit. Make the bottom portion a bit larger, the top a bit smaller. Experiment with these little legs that kick out and just see what I come up with. This letter G just looks goofy. G is for goofy. This is a G with a big old grin. It looks silly and playful to me. This stem is so exaggerated, and I like that. What happens if I wrap the stem nearly all the way around the letter G? What do I come up with? How does that look? What do you like? What sticks out to you? What are some of your favorite letters? Letter Q is one of my favorite letters. There's so many things that can be done with the letter Q. I'm gonna experiment with the general shape. Diamonds, circles, squares. And then I'm gonna go ahead and experiment with this little stem. Have it cut back, have it kick out, have it zigzag. There's so many things I can do with this letter Q. I love the letter Q. On to the next, W. First off, that's just a strange name for a letter, W. When you think about it, you're joining two U's together. Who came up with that? I don't know. This letter W has a strange, off-kilter feel to it. One side is way heavier than the other side. W's a fun one. I'm gonna keep messing around and see what I come up with for W. So that's starting point A. Starting point B is really similar. Basically, we're just gonna turn our paper upside down. We're gonna create the grid with 35 boxes. We're gonna create our full alphabet, our full set of numbers. We'll just be doing it upside down. This is gonna feel super awkward, and I think that's actually a good thing. This is gonna challenge you to really focus in on the shape and the angles of letters. So let's see what you come up with. Maybe for this lesson, you just want to hop right into your tag or your moniker. What's that, Kita? Yeah, moniker, it's like a nickname. No, your name is Kita. You wouldn't want to tag your name. Kita with 4 E's? That's interesting. It's kind of redundant though. That's a lot of E's. Back to back to back to back. So maybe not that. It's also kind of long. Let's take a quick time out to talk about monikers and tags. Monikers and tags. Usually they're 3 to 7 letters long. They can be given to you. You can make them up. Let's avoid the names of legends. First off, you have to get to know who the legends are, so do some investigating. As always, do you. What is unique to you? The moniker that I'll be going with for the sake of these classes is Magic. M-A-G-I-C. Magic. Similarly to setting up a grid for our alphabets, we're going to set up some guidelines for our monikers or tags. We'll go ahead and draw 4 horizontal lines again, and 1 vertical line right down the middle, giving us 10 boxes to work with. Similar to how we started off our alphabets, I'm going to go ahead and use a handwriting style that I'm familiar with. From here, I'm going to go ahead and add variations, experiment a little bit, working quickly, not getting too caught up on letter forms, and just pushing through and seeing what I come up with. In the way that I wrote each of these tags, I'm trying to find some consistency. So you'll notice, even in the simplest way that I write magic, I'm keeping a few things in mind. The heights of the letters are roughly the same. The angles of the letters are also very similar or consistent. Again, the height is pretty consistent except for the first hump in the letter M, and then you'll notice that there's a similar curve happening at the top of most of the letters, and the width of the letters is also really similar. We also have a similar lead. In this quasi-cursive version of the word magic, I have similar curves throughout the letters, and you'll notice this baseline is tilted off in a direction that the letters follow. And then came along this lowercase g, just grinning. I'm going to try to find a way to incorporate this curve of this stem somewhere in the word magic. And it just so happens the letter C could also have a similar curve to it. If you haven't already, go ahead and just check out what you came up with. Where are the consistencies? Where are the points that surprise you, that catch your eye, that you like, that you want to explore further? Go ahead and do that. Another potential starting point, flip your paper upside down and go ahead and start to work through your monikers in that way. My intention with setting up this challenge is to have you just kind of lose control of your hand a little bit and see what you come up with. You might surprise yourself. We have a comfort zone that we work within. I think it's important to find that comfort zone, and then I'm going to give y'all challenges to push beyond that. So you're going to come up with some discoveries. This is going to help us in forming a full menu of ideas. Here's another way of hopping in to letter forms. Go ahead and create a grid with 35 boxes, and let's take the brakes off. Just go ahead and letter by letter, see what you come up with. Don't worry about consistencies, just go for it. Set a timer if you need, 1 minute, maybe 2 minutes if you need a little bit more time, and just go off. See what you come up with. When we start to really focus in on the things that strike us, this is where we begin to figure out where our style lies. Here are 3 things I want you to try doing this week. Observe handmade letters around you. So car dealerships, windows, the sides of small businesses, letters that have been created by hand. Look for those. Another thing that I want you to try out this week. Look for the tags in your neighborhood. So check out utility boxes, check out stop signs or street signs. Take peeks in between buildings to see if somebody has scrawled their name on something. Look for the tags around you. Also, in your black book, practice writing your tag or your moniker. If you don't have one, go ahead and practice sets of letters, alphabets. Figure out the letters that you enjoy writing. A few things to keep in mind as you're working on these writing exercises. Keep it loose. If If it helps to add a timer to help push you through and speed you along, go ahead and add a timer. Try out different styles. Remember, we're trying to develop a menu of styles and ideas. And have some fun with it. Until next time, keep it funky, keep it fresh, be creative, and be safe.